Hey world, do you hear that giant sucking sound? That's Marvel sucking up every dollar it's ever existed. Hello, cult members. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And for you new people that have come around, thank you very much for being here. If you have not already, please subscribe to this channel because we do stuff all the times.
Well, not all the time,
Okay,
but all the time.
All the time. We'll be doing some stuff over the next few weeks. I'm pretty sure after watching that little clip, we'll be doing Bohemian Rhapsody trailer reaction tomorrow night.
Yes, yes. It looks amazing.
And but we ask that you subscribe to the channel while you're here.
Somebody fell over.
Fucking Harry, every goddamn time. Harry's committing Harry Carey.
But bump.
Like I was saying before Harry decided to commit suicide, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you can get notifications of when we're doing stuff, and tell your friends. Trying to build a community here, people. So,
Right, a community of what we don't know,
but weirdos like us. Pretty much. Like I said, Infinity War, making all the monies.
making all the monies while they can, because in 2 days Deadpool 2 comes out, and then in
10 days to Solo. So it's officially past the $1 billion mark internationally, and it's the 5th highest grossing movie of all internationally of all time, and it's 1.6 billion so far. So
and
it's going to get to 2. The real question is it going to get to Force Awakens money?
Right.
And I just don't know, with like what she was saying with Deadpool and Han Solo coming, if that staying power is there.
Yeah.
We have seen it twice. I'd like to go see it again.
Yeah, but we can't on our movie pass because only once.
I know, but I might be willing to go see it in Dolby again.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. And since we're talking about, Han Solo and stuff, today is George Lucas's 74th birthday.
He looks pretty good for 74.
That dude's doing all right.
Yeah.
This is what happens when Disney says, "Here's $4 billion." And he says, "Thank you very much." And then Disney goes around and makes $4 billion.
Easily.
Yeah, but George Lucas, I mean, come on. I know a lot of people didn't like the prequels. I have learned to appreciate the prequels. But the dude gave us Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
And Ron Howard and Willow. Well, Willow was cool. Let's be honest. If you dog on Willow, you just don't have a heart. It's what it comes down to. It's what it really comes down to. So we have a bunch of stuff that we wanted to go over this week outside of, hey, we want you to subscribe and vacuum sounds.
Do we? Okay.
Well, that's what the rumor is. So this week, we're going to start off with a movie we went and saw on Monday last week.
Wednesday. We saw Infinity War.
Infinity War was on Monday. Wednesday was Bad Samaritan. Now, it's only made $3 million at this point in time. It's not out in a ton of theaters, which I think is very disappointing. But this is the David Tennant thriller that's out right now. It's directed by Dean Devlin. And this whole movie was sponsored by Legion M. And Legion M is a independent stock company owned, like you own stock in the company to help make it happen.
Okay, so like crowdsourcing.
Kind of like crowdsourcing, but it's it's a filmmaking company,
right?
And I don't know how much their budget was for this movie, but
Well, we didn't see anything about it until 2-3 weeks ago. We saw a preview for it. We're like, I had no idea.
Yeah. There's been some push online, mostly from Dean Devlin and the people around Legion M, which I follow both of them on Twitter and Instagram. So I was seeing more than I think the normal person was because I followed them, but for the channel. But
and the budget couldn't have been that much.
No,
I mean, it was
I don't
all
think so.
like kind of shot on location.
Yeah. So the movie itself stars David Tennant as this creepy playboy serial killer kind of thing.
Super serial killer.
The premise of the movie is these two guys work as valets at a high-end restaurant. They take the cars back to the house, break in, steal some really small random stuff that you don't notice until later. And then David Tennant shows up, and they take his car, and they go back to his house, and they find a black card that hadn't been signed up for yet. So they were working on trying to get it signed up, and they were looking for passwords and stuff like that. And there was a girl chained up, like seriously chained up in one of the offices.
Yep.
And that starts this giant like cat and mouse game from then on out.
Right.
With Robert Sheehan, who played Sean.
I think it's Sheehan.
Is it Sheehan?
Yeah,
okay,
I think so.
Sheehan. Who played Sean, and he was the guy who found the girl. And so David Tennant's character just kind of goes on and does everything to ruin his life.
Right. And he's, the premise is that he gets away with what he gets away with because he's filthy rich.
Right.
So he can do stuff and then disappear for a while, and he can afford to ruin your life.
Right.
Have your parents fired from jobs and
yeah. It started off super. I won't say slow, choppy. It started off really choppy for me, and we even talked about it right after the movie. Like the first probably 5 minutes of the movie, they have to do some setup stuff. They have to show it's in Portland. They have to show it's Sean's this kind of guy. He actually has a good heart. This is his girlfriend. Yeah. He's got he's a photographer, like a freelance photographer, and he's trying to make it as that. And he's only doing this job and robbing to pretty much pay the bills at that point in time.
Right.
And all that stuff was like really choppy and kind of, I won't say disorganized because it made sense. It just was very kind of, we have to do the setup to get into the big stuff. And it was just...
Well, and the movie itself was pretty short, right? It was like an hour and...
I think I have it up still.
Hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's hour and 50 minutes.
Hour and 50 minutes. So, yeah, they got to move along.
Right. And after they got past that initial and they started moving on, it was one subtle step towards the climax at the end. It was just there was some movies, we've talked about this in the past, some movies build to a climax and then rest, and then build to a climax and rest. This one was a climax, like the next scene was a more like just added on top of the previous scene, added on top of
you were I don't know that I would say on the edge of your seat, but you are anxious.
Yeah,
you're waiting.
Yeah,
and
I
there
was doing a lot of like,
there was some jump scares in places you weren't expecting them, then and it just didn't let up. It just kept going.
Yeah, and it's more and more pressure. And David Tennant, fuck, that dude can act.
He was an awesome doctor, but you know what? He's been a great bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really good in Broadchurch too, and he was not a bad guy, but kind of an asshole.
Right.
And then as Mr. Purple in Jessica Jones. Killjoy and Jessica Jones, he's more of an asshole. And now in this, he's just like...
He was super, like... Yeah, I want to see him... Because we're Doctor Who fans, obviously. We want to see all of our doctors do really well. But now that he's kind of proven himself, I give him a lead in a big movie. Like have him come in and be something. I would love to see that. Maybe something a sci-fi drama or something like that. Not because he's done Doctor Who, but like something of a sci-fi drama.
Yeah, I thought he was great in this. I thought this really worked.
Any problems with the movie?
We talked about it on the way home. There were a couple of plot holes, but there almost always are in that type of movie, right? Or TV show. You're like, that's the whole reason why the Scream franchise happened. Don't go outside alone and don't go upstairs and have sex. And it's the same. You're like, why would you do that? That's the stupidest thing ever.
It's
And
stupid, stupid
you know,
horror
but
film tropes
yeah,
or thriller
yeah,
tropes or whatever.
yeah.
I
And
get
I
that.
mean, there was some of those where you're like, oh, I know where this is going, and then it didn't, which was good. But yeah, there was a couple of times where we were like, this, I don't know why they
Yeah,
did this.
yeah, and that's okay. Dean Devlin directed it, and Dean Devlin is somebody that we've talked about a bunch on the show that we really, really love. Librarians and Leverage. He did Geostorm. I don't necessarily think that one is his fault completely. I think it was kind of taken away from him. But he wrote Independence Day. I love Independence Day. And so he's somebody we tried to help support, and that's why we wanted to go see this. And I thought he did a really good job. Like, it's shot really well.
Yeah,
He gets some great performances. The girl who's kidnapped, her name is Katie, Carrie Condon. She was awesome. Like, she was like,
She has this line. She's like, hits him over the head.
yeah,
Hits even Tennant's character over the head, and then looks at Sean Falco and goes, and that's how you rescue somebody. and you're like, oh my God, that
Yeah.
was funny in the middle of this intense scene.
and it was totally perfect for her character. And I thought pulling something, somebody we really don't know. It was the same
Yeah.
with the guy who played Sean Falco,
Yeah,
Robert.
yeah.
Pulling stuff out of them and made you feel some emotion for all those characters, and
Yeah,
it was good. So score.
Ooh, three.
3.
Yeah,
Okay, I was thinking 3.25.
yeah.
And we mean 3. Like, it's a good thing. Like, we didn't really have any expectations going in. Yeah, there's some plot holes. It's a super low budget, but I'm super happy we saw it. I would totally watch it again.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a Blu-ray buy. It might be a DVD buy. But
Maybe if it's a Zia,
Yeah.
used.
I'm not going to
and-
rush right out like I am tomorrow to get Black Panther.
Right.
That kind of thing. But
Right, but yeah, if it's
it will.
$5 at Zia or something, I might buy it.
We would watch it again, definitely. So, another movie that is being in the works that actually just sold while everybody was at Cannes is a movie called 355. 355 was this known British, well, they think she was British, secret agent, kind of a Bond level kind of agent, an actual real person. Nobody really knows what her real name was and who she actually really worked for. She just mostly did stuff for the British government. And so Jessica Chastain, who apparently has become the biggest freaking producer in Hollywood right now. She's like producing everything right now.
Oh, okay.
Her and Margot Robbie, like, they need to just build a company and show Henry how Harvey how it's done. But she's the main producer on this movie. She's helping write it, and she's going to star in this movie. And it's an all-star cast of women: Maureen Cotillard, Penelope Cruz, Lupita Nyong'o. Like, it's just going to be like and they're all going to play different versions of spies. So think like the Bourne Identity, where there's all the different spies. And they can be activated at different times and that kind of thing. Or like
So is the 355 like 007? Is that
essentially?
what
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
okay.
Essentially, as I understood it. Now there's a book out about 355 that I need to track down and see if there's any information. What it is and stuff like that. But from what I've read and what I've seen, this really has my attention. Not because of it's all women cast being spies. It's the people they're getting to do this movie.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
subject matter is like, that's so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all very popular women.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all A-list. Everybody who's on it.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like an Avengers meetup kind of thing with spies. Okay.
Yeah, it could be good. I mean, I expect it probably will. I don't think Jessica Chastain or Lupita Nyong'o would put their names on something that wasn't good right now. They're pretty hot.
No. They had the cast. They have, I believe they have a director. They didn't. No, they did not have a director. They have the cast. So Jessica is producing it. Her production company's doing it. She went to all of her friends, said, "We're fucking doing this. You're going to be in the movie." They all said yes. And then they took it to Cannes, because Cannes in France is going on right now, and sat down,
Shopping it around.
and shopped it around, and it got bought. So that was actually the article I got some of the information from, was it saying that it did get bought. So they are moving forward now. They got to work on everybody's schedule, but they are going to move forward with it. So I thought that's a kind of a cool story, because it's a woman putting this production together, got it bought, and the subject matter. I think that's kind of cool. So.
And it's kind of the old school, it's not Disney or Fox or Universal. It's, It's, hey, I've got an idea. Let's make a movie.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Bad Samaritan was. Kind of, with working with Legion M as the production company. That kind of thing.
That's a really interesting concept.
Yeah. I like it. I want Blumhouse and A24 and like these kind of companies and Legion M. I want those guys to do well. They're never going to make $1.6 billion in 4 weeks.
Right.
But if they put a movie together for $3, $4, $5 million and they make 10 an opening weekend, they're going to be super happy with that.
Yeah.
And as long as they're putting out good stuff, that's good. I have more trust in A24 and Blumhouse right now than I do a lot of the big companies, specifically Warner Brothers and DC.
Right. And maybe the Star Wars universe, but we'll see. We'll see how Solo goes.
I don't care. I think it's going to be good. Another movie I'm super excited about, and because I'm a weirdo and it's in my wheelhouse, is Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music. My wife is not going to make funny faces at me. Bill and Ted's the first one, Excellent Adventure, was filmed here in the Phoenix area. Golfland Sunsplash was where the slide was, where Napoleon was. The bowling alley was down on Rural and the 101.
High school.
Her high school was San Dimas High School.
San Dimas,
Metro Center was the mall where they had the big riot and all this stuff, and Beethoven's playing, and all that was all filmed here. And that movie hit perfect for me. Like, the timing of that movie was perfect, and I loved it. Bogus Journey, I like. But it's not as good.
Yeah.
I could do without the whole evil robot us's being overly evil.
Yeah, it just lost me on the whole evil robot us's.
Bill and Ted fighting death to the death for control.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious every time.
That was funny.
Charades with Station and everything like that. All that's
Station.
Awesome. So they're making the third one. So David Peristot?
Parasot?
It's, I don't know. He did Galaxy Quest, Red 2, Fun with Dick and Jane. Fun and Dick with Jane is actually a very underrated, serious comedy about the whole Enron, that kind of stuff. It's really good. But he's going to direct it. And then the two original creators, Christopher Matheson and Ed Solomon, are going to write the script. So it's the original guys coming together, a known good comedy director, and the Bill and Ted are both coming back now. Keanu is busy filming John Wick 3 right now, and then he's doing something with Winona Ryder, the Demolition Wedding or something like that. So but it's in pre-production. They're working on sets and costuming and all that stuff. So I'm obviously excited about this. Do you care about them coming back 20, 30 years, 35 years later?
No.
That's fair. That's why I brought it up.
It's not something that I was like I wanted or needed in my life. We'll see.
I didn't really think about it until they Entertainment Weekly did that photo shoot with the two of them. Yeah. And the two of them, the older versions of them with their faces on the inside of the phone booth. I was like, "Oh my God, I want to see that." I don't even care what the subject matter is. I want to see it. Now they're talking about how they haven't wrote the perfect album yet. Is what the storyline's going to be.
And so who's going to be Rufus?
Right.
Because George Carlin's dead.
Right. That was one of the things I've been talking about. Somebody said Bill Hader, not opposed. Chris Rock.
Bill Hader's a little busy right now, but yeah.
Chris Rock, that kind of established, I would really like to see Eddie Murphy, because Eddie Murphy's not doing anything, right? I think that would be really funny, Eddie Murphy coming out and having them purposely bleep out like, I just think it'd be funny. But they're moving forward with it, and it's something
Yeah.
I didn't know I
We'll
wanted until I
see.
saw it. So.
Bill, Keanu was Ted, right? Or
Yeah.
was it the other? Okay, so the guy that plays Bill, not aged well.
No. But Keanu has aged better. Like, he's gotten better with age. Like, he looks
Oh,
way
yeah.
better now than he did
Oh,
back
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
And the dude's badass. Like, go watch his training for John Wick.
See, I'm gonna have a hard time with him being.
Like, whoa, dude. Like, it's going to be John Wick, like, whoa, dude. Like, totally.
I'm gonna have a hard time with that. I think.
They had to get the two girls, the two princesses. They actually have to get the actresses. That has to happen. Right?
Oh yeah, well that's who they married, right?
Yeah,
And
it was the
then
two
they had
princesses. But they have to get
kids.
the real,
Yeah, the
real
girls.
actresses.
Yeah.
And I want like them to be like totally like at each other's throats, like not Bill and Ted, but like the
two
princesses
girls.
and stuff like that, and just
And they have to get Mom Missy back.
yeah.
And she's still like
yeah.
young and hot, and they're not.
It's gonna be. Oh, come on! Now we're talking about stuff that's like, okay. Now I really want to see this.
As long as I don't have to pay a lot of money for it, I'll be okay.
It's not gonna be like it's not gonna be like a rush right out, and unless the trailers come out and it fucking looks awesome,
Right.
And somehow they have to get Eddie Van Halen in this one. So this week has been the chopping block week for TV shows.
Yep.
I had a page up of all the main channel like shows that ended or canceled and the ones that are being renewed. And their main four were or five was ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and CW.
Okay.
So it wasn't including like
Netflix,
AMC,
Amazon.
Hulu,
yeah.
you know, TNT, FX, all that kind of stuff. So some of the stuff that's really been stuff that I just put down. I just randomly put stuff down. We're not going to cover all of it because we could just do one long 2-hour show about the TV
Right.
stuff. And let's be honest, 95% of this was stuff we don't watch.
Right. So it wasn't really
Right. So
devastated that it was gone.
the big thing for us here at the Pop Culture Cult is Lost in Space is getting a second season.
Of course.
Yes, it's so good, guys. If you've not gone to see it, sit down and watch it. It's like an 8 or 9 hour binge. It's a really easy binge. You could do it in a night or do it in a day or over a couple of days, and it leaves you on like a cliffhanger that makes sense. And so
Yeah.
I would have been upset
Yeah.
if they had not gone on with it. ABC re-upped Blackish, Fresh Off the Boat, which I think is two of the most racist
Titles
ever, but apparently they get great ratings. I just
Okay.
don't understand.
Yeah.
Goldberg's the same way.
The Goldbergs, yeah.
Roseanne came back before Firefly and Sherlock. I mean, come on. It's
I've heard some people say that Rosanna's good.
Roseanne, the original couple seasons of Roseanne is something that I watched when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because that was my house.
Yeah.
Minus a couple of kids, but it was my house. Like Roseanne kind of reminds me of my mom, and my dad was kind of a better version of John. But
Yeah.
but that was kind of like that was our house. We were Midwest family living in Arizona, but that was how it was. And I just don't like sitcom, like regular sitcom TV.
Yeah. We're kind of over that now.
Yeah,
but
I want some depth to my show, and maybe they have some depth to that show.
Yeah, they're
I just
supposed to
didn't-
be. Well, I mean, they did in the original show. They tackled some,
in
some
this very
things
special episode
In this very special episode,
of
yeah.
Walker, Texas
and they're
Ranger.
doing like they have a Middle Eastern couple move in next door or something, and yeah.
So it's
I mean,
topical and
Yeah.
it's not How to Get Away with Murder. Now that show makes sense to me.
I watched it up until this last season, and then I was like, kind of over it. So
How many times can you get away with murder?
Right, it got very formulaic.
Right.
So I gave up on it. I was over it.
I get that. The big thing we just saw before we came in is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got renewed again. and
crazy.
And this time it's a 13 episode season. Now we are waiting for the season to get done, and we're gonna binge it all in one sitting, and then we'll do a review of the whole season. But the stuff that we saw the first couple episodes before we stopped and decided to do a binge session, that show is good.
Well, we've always liked it. I think it would be awesome if it carried over a little bit more to other stuff, but they're so spread out they can't,
and
between
the TV
Netflix
side and the movie side don't
Yeah.
talk to each other
Yeah.
for Marvel and so. But I just Disney saved it the last time, so I'm wondering if Disney is saving it again this time.
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of weird that they picked it back up,
And it's
'cause
only
it
for
was
13
gone.
episodes.
It was gone.
Yeah, they had finished it. They were done
Yeah.
with it, and then they brought it back for this season.
Yeah,
and they introduced a
because-
whole bunch of stuff. And apparently, I was reading when I was getting the information for this that the stuff that happens in Infinity War, it affects the show. So they knew way ahead of time.
So they were talking about it on Movie Talk that how are like Jessica Jones and Daredevil and all those, how are they going to handle?
Yeah. 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 I don't know. Is it the same? They hint it's the same universe, but where we're going off on the Marvel.
Every single one of them have
has
talked
talked
about
about
the incident in New York,
yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what started this whole thing.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to be before the snap.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. NBC has renewed Big Bang Theory for season 87, I think, or whatever. I don't care. They're all making like $1.5 million an episode.
Yeah, whatever.
And
It's another one I'm over. I mean,
yeah,
I watched it for a while.
We
but
watch it whenever it pops on, but whatever.
Yeah.
Criminal Minds again picked up. Elementary picked up. I don't understand. That one, it was the same thing. Like first couple 3 seasons were good.
I watched
and now
it, and then
same with Hawaii Five-0. I don't know how that show's still on Friday night at 8:00 with all the problems they've had with people leaving because they're not getting paid.
yeah.
Madam Secretary got picked up. That was a cool.
I mean, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. MacGyver. Everybody says MacGyver's really good. Like the people
I
I've
didn't
heard.
even know it was still on.
Right. That's and it's a young MacGyver, and it's
Yeah.
MacGyver name only, really. But that's MacGyver was one of those shows like in the '80s that made sense on NBC, and now that show makes sense on like USA.
Yeah.
Like that's what I thought they were gonna do with it, but it's doing well. So, and then NCIS, this the juggernaut that is the NCIS universe or whatever.
CSI, NCIS.
Right. The CW renewed everything that you would think it would renew. So the Arrowverse, Black Lightning, Supernatural, iZombie, Rivendell, like.
They're like, nope, we're good. We're
good.
happy.
The only thing they didn't do was the Wayward Sisters, which was the spinoff from Supernatural. And there's talk of that going to Netflix. That kind of seems like a more, but like every show that they talk about renewing, they're super happy. They're getting 2.5 million viewers every week, not including all their in-demand stuff and we talked about it. We did a review of Legends of Tomorrow. We binge it as soon as the season's over. We go sit down and binge the whole season.
Right.
And so they're getting those numbers too. So they're super happy with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're never going to be NBC or ABC and expecting $20-25 million or million viewers a week.
Right.
And they're totally okay with that.
Yeah.
Knowing your place and making money doing it.
Yep.
Fox really renewed a bunch of stuff. The only ones I really care about is Orville.
Yes.
Got renewed.
Yes.
The best Star Trek show on TV right now. And they so I don't NBC canceled Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a show. I'm sorry if you like it. I don't get it.
There's a lot of people that liked it though. Apparently, I mean, the internet lost its shit when it got canceled.
I don't understand. I just don't get it. I think it's awesome. You get it and you like it. That's awesome. I just don't understand how this show keeps going. It's the same thing with Blackish. It's the same thing with Hawaii Five-0. These shows.
I mean, I get Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's Adam.
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah. Anyway, it's his
Sandberg. Adam Sandberg.
Is it Sandberg?
It might
I
be
was
Sandberg.
thinking, yeah, maybe it is Sandberg. That's kind of Saturday Night Live
Yeah,
primetime humor.
yeah.
And that's
I don't
fine.
at this
It's
point in
just
time. I don't
not
get
something
At this point in time, I don't get Saturday Night Live either.
Yeah,
So
it's just not something we're into.
yeah,
But plenty of people are.
but because NBC cancels Brooklyn Nine-Nine to bring back the Tim Allen show.
Oh, right, because
So
it got canceled,
got
and
canceled,
he
and
said
it
it
was
was because it was a political thing.
It was they canceled the top 10 rated show because Tim Allen is conservative. And
and he plays a conservative on the show.
Right,
I mean, he's super conservative.
And so they canceled the show, and then so now NBC, freaking corporate executives, Jesus Christ, cancels Brooklyn Nine-Nine to bring back Tim Allen's show. So Fox says, we'll take it. So they took it, and then they said, to replace Lucifer, we're gonna get rid of Lucifer. And then the internet's like, not Lucifer.
You can't have all of it, boys and girls.
So then I read today that the new CW streaming services, or the DC streaming service is coming.
Yeah.
They're going to do like DC like cartoons and TV. They're thinking about picking up Lucifer because he's a DC character. He's a DC comic book character. So as the joke goes in our group, you don't lose your partner, you lose your turn.
Right.
So
you don't lose your TV show. You just lose your
time slot
affiliate. Yeah.
And it's just funny. We don't want it, but you can have it. And we're 12-year-olds with baseball cards trading each other.
Trading. Well, and it goes back to the CW thing, right? Where NBC, CBS, and ABC are all like, we have to have 25 million viewers or the show's gone.
Right.
And Fox maybe is learning their lesson, and CW, and then like you said, AMC, FX, and then Netflix, and all of those are like, hey, we're cool with 2.5 million viewers. That's good for us.
Legion, I think, is doing like 4 or 4.5 million viewers. And they're
are all 4.5 million of you as confused as we are?
We're 2 episodes behind right now. We're 2 episodes. We're trying to do them.
You have to pay attention.
You
to
have
the
to pay attention. So we're going off on a tangent because we haven't done that in the show already. With Legion, this show is so amazing.
It is.
The problem is a week-to-week watch is almost impossible to keep track of what's going on.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to do them like 2 at a time or 3 at a time. So we'll wait 3 weeks, build them all up, binge them all together. And I think that's helping us maybe understand a little bit more. I still think
so the
I
thing you
understand,
struggle with it is you go into it and because you forget, right? You forgot that maybe it's real, maybe it's not, maybe it's in his head, maybe it's in her head, maybe we're in some other dimension. And so it takes like 2 episodes for you to go, oh yeah, why are we in this donut-shaped asylum? I don't even
I don't what the headquarters are. The one a couple episodes ago.
Why is somebody serving lemonade? I have a lemonade stand in the middle of the desert.
Right. It's where are we? The donut submarine in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. It's a
food truck.
Food truck. Yeah, like a donut. Yeah.
It looks like a submarine, and they serve donuts out of it.
Out of it. Yeah, in the middle of the desert.
The one a couple episodes ago, where David was trying to save. Can't remember her name right now.
The girlfriend.
The girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he was in her consciousness from birth, and like the episode starts with her warming her hands in an igloo, and then there's this light at the end of the tunnel, and that's her mom giving birth, and they it's the greatest like metaphor for what birth, a child's view of
out
birth
into the cold world.
Yeah, it was,
over and over and over again. We're back in the igloo.
Okay, I'm so confused. What are we supposed to be looking at? Okay, that's not it. And like even David, like halfway through the episode's like, I don't understand.
And she's like, Go.
I just go. He's like, I haven't.
Do it
No,
again.
just go it again.
Go.
You're missing the whole thing. I was just like, oh my god, this show is amazing. I have no fucking clue what's going on. Okay, back from Legion.
Okay.
We pull back here. The one thing that maybe is disappointing, maybe is not. There is no plans to continue on with X-Files.
Right, and I mean,
think that was kind of the
they've
plan
been
anyways.
saying that,
Yeah.
so I didn't expect it.
Gillian Anderson said, she loves the character. She's done it a bunch. She loves being part of the cast, and the crew is amazing and everything. But she's like, I'm done.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. If like the last season, I don't know if you call them season, it was what, 10 episodes or
I
whatever.
didn't think it was that many.
Ended on a cliffhanger, and then they were talking about that was it, and I was like, wait a minute, you can't do that.
Right,
That's
right,
not fair.
right.
So then now we haven't finished watching this last
season,
that just ended. But as long as they don't end it on a cliffhanger,
As long as
they
it makes,
kind of wrap it up to a certain extent, then I'm fine with
That's
that.
kind of the same thing I want them to do with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I want them to have a moment of ramp uppage.
Just and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is over. It's just a bunch of dust. Spoilers.
If you're at this point in the show with us talking about TV shows, you've seen that movie already. The last thing we're going to talk about is Guillermo del Toro is going to do a Twilight-style 10-episode show for Netflix, and it's going to be called Guillermo del Toro's Presents 10 After Midnight, and it's a horror series. And each individual episode is going to be like the Twilight series, where they're self-contained,
Right.
But there could be some connective tissue to all the different ones.
Okay.
He's going to write and direct a couple of them, but he's looking at specifically writers and directors of horror to come in and do stuff.
Awesome.
Go.
Yes.
My question is with Guillermo, because he likes to do as much as he can practically.
Yeah.
And so how much of the monsters are going to be practically, how much are they going to spend on the show? It's Netflix. They apparently are stealing from the vacuum bag of Marvel and paying for everything. But I'm just...
Well, I mean, when you're doing a little 45, 50 minute, it's like Black Mirror, right?
Yeah.
Black Mirror can be completely practical because, I mean, the longest episode was like an hour and 10 minutes or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah, you can be completely practical.
A lot of Doctor Who is practical, too.
Yeah. And it's not made for the big screen, so it's not like, unless you're Kevin Smith and you have a 103-inch TV, it's not like you're going to be able to see it up close to
Right.
be like, oh, that's plastic or whatever.
Right.
So, totally.
I just think that... So what I really wanted was... and most of the internet's going to agree with this. What we really wanted was Guillermo to do the Monster Universe.
Yeah.
Be the
think
Kevin
that's
Feige, Kathleen Kennedy of the Monster Universe. Let him have control of it. Give him the budget and the time and the people to do it the right way.
Yeah.
I like The Mummy, but I agree with a lot of other people that it set up too much. It was trying to set up too much of the universe and not really focusing on The Mummy. That kind of thing.
And I think Guillermo would just do a much better job. It doesn't need to be the star-studded high, FX production.
Right.
It needs to be, if you go back and
Has
watch those.
heart.
Well,
And-
you go back and watch those old. They were so cheesy. The Creature from the Black Lagoon was so cheesy.
Yeah.
And even when they came out, they were cheesy. But that's what made them good.
And they had heart, and you felt for the characters, and
make it a good story, and it doesn't have to be rubber monsters, but they don't have to be Marvel effects either. You know? Just
Right.
make them good.
I'm good. I'm totally cool with that. I just I have some questions about what they're gonna do with it. Not as a horror fan, I'm very interested because I love Guillermo's work.
Yeah.
And I think that his attention to detail of both the story and the visualness and having something to do over a 10-hour block of 10 episodes is just going to be there's going to stuff that's going to be in the background that happens in episode 1 or 2 that's going to directly affect the last one.
Maybe. and they do that. It's the same exact thing they did in Black Mirror.
Yeah.
They they all tie in, there's throwbacks, or this device that's in season 3, the prototype was in season 1, and and all that, but they're all also very different. And I think for Guillermo that might work well because he's got some weird ideas like fish men having sex with women, right? So you can have this kind of, here's an hour-long weird-ass idea.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like it, there's something different.
The next week.
The next one. Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. So that's our episode for this week. It's just a bunch of different tidbits and stuff. So some things that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Like we said, we're going to try to do Bohemian Rhapsody tomorrow, as long as neither one of us works a 15-hour day.
No promises.
We might end up doing it just late anyways and just call it good. We're going to see Deadpool on Thursday, so we'll have a we'll probably just do a spoiler review. We'll see. We'll have that up this weekend. Next Thursday, we're going to see Han Solo. We're going to the very first screening, unless we get premieres, but we're going to see Han Solo. We will do our very best to upload something for Solo
Thursday night, because Friday morning we head to Phoenix Comic-Con, and we'll be at Phoenix Comic-Con Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you see us, please come stop by. I may have a bag of goodies. But next week's episode, we are going to do a Phoenix Comic-Con preview show, I guess is the best way to put it, and kind of talk about what we're looking forward to and some different things. And then we'll probably talk about Deadpool too, because it's Deadpool. With that being said, if you have suggestions on stuff that you are wanting us to talk about, is there a book, a movie, or something like that you want us to be aware of, please let us know in the comments and share with us the things that you're interested in. We're obviously into the movie thing right now, but if maybe there's a TV show or something that we're missing, we will do our very best to catch up. We're also looking at maybe doing a podcast addition to the stream through Podcast One or whatever it ends up being. So if you have suggestions on that, please let us know too. Anything else? No.
Please like, subscribe, comment on this channel. Ring the bell. Follow us on Facebook at the Pop Culture Cult. We're Pop Culture Cult 1 on Instagram. We're at Pop_Cult1. Pop at fucking Twitter at Pop_Cult1. Follow us there if you want. But do download the Stardust app. Follow us first. React to everything that you're watching. That's it. I had a 12.5-hour day at work. I'm going to bed. Maybe edit this first. And until next time, good night now.